Today, I will be giving you my full review and ranking of Roundtop Mountain Resort in Pennsylvania. How's it going? My name is Chris, and my goal this winter season is to rank and review as many ski resorts as possible. I will be ranking them from F to S tier, both regionally, which Roundtop would fit into the Mid-Atlantic region, and then worldwide. So without further ado, let's jump into my full ranking, review, and breakdown of Roundtop Mountain in Pennsylvania. So just starting off with some mountain stats, this resort has an elevation of 1,350 feet. It has a 600-foot vertical drop. It has 21 runs. It has 107 skiable acres, and it has 9 lifts. So that is 5 chairlifts, 1 J-bar, 2 magic carpets for skiers, and then 1 magic carpet for their tubing park. So now let's just jump into my experience at Roundtop. I've only been to this resort now once, and it was this season, first time ever going to this mountain, and I gotta say it was pretty fun. I didn't give it the fairest chance only because I had limited time to ride there, and it was probably the worst conditions you can ride in, other than like pure ice days, because it was like a sleety, wintry rain mix that I went to ride there in. So like it was not like I went there on a powder day, which is just going to be unfair for any resort that I get to go ride on a powder day. They're going to have an unfair advantage when I'm doing my rankings. But this was my first time there, and I got to say it was pretty fun for what the mountain was. And I was doing this as part of a little road trip where I was hitting a couple different resorts. So I went here first. It was the first stop on my kind of little mini weekend road trip, and then afterwards I had to leave kind of quickly to go drive into the city of Philly because I was kicking it with my brother Adam. Shout out to him. He's one of my day one listeners of back when I was doing this as a Chris's Secret podcast. So anyways, went and kicked it with him for the night, and then after that, the next night I was car camping. So quick little 3-day 2-night little road trip to go hit a couple resorts. But yeah, so I only got to ride there for a couple of hours, but it was fun while I was there. And one kind of fun fact about Roundtop, in the off seasons, it's actually one of the largest paintballing facilities in the state of Pennsylvania. So that is definitely something that I want to go check out during the summer months to see what the paintballing course has to offer. But moving back over to the ski resort, this resort is located in Lewisberry, Pennsylvania. It is about 2 hours away from Philly, and then it's about an hour and a half away from Baltimore. It's honestly kind of in the middle of nowhere, but yeah, so that's where it's located. And I guess I'll just kind of jump over to the housing. I looked up the housing for this resort, and there's no housing on the slopes that I could find from their website. On their website, the only thing that they talk about is different like partner hotels that are nearby, and even those aren't even really that nearby. Maybe there's a couple that were 9 miles away, but 9 miles driving is obviously not that close. It's probably 15 to 20 minutes away. So there are some hotels, and there's literally no Airbnbs nearby the resort. So like I have an Airbnb up on my screen, as you can see, and there's literally no Airbnbs anywhere near this resort. Now, if you zoom out, the closest Airbnb is this place. If anyone has ever stayed at this Airbnb, please leave me a comment and let me know, because I will say, for what it looks like, which is a literal trailer, it's got kind of good reviews. I mean, look at these photos. I can't imagine any girlfriend or wife has ever stayed in this place. This looks like something me and my buddies would stay at when none of the women that are more responsible than us are in our lives. This is one of the photos that they have on the listing. Like, look at this place. That looks terrifying. I can't imagine if you booked this place and like showed up when it was dark outside and like you had to like walk in and this is the hall. That like, dude, I can't believe this place. Dude, wow. However, I will say, shout out to whoever is doing this Airbnb, because I went to their profile just to see like what the heck is going on here. So it's this dude named Dylan. Shout out to you, Dylan. And this is their other Airbnb. That is kind of cute. So I would stay there. That looks cool. A little A-frame. Also, what I'm assuming happened. So Dylan, if you ever end up watching this, let me know. They only have 2 Airbnbs, and it's this sketchy trailer and then this actually cute A-frame. I'm assuming what happened is they bought like land and it already had this little trailer on it, and then they built themselves this little A-frame cabin. But anyways, hilarious. There's no Airbnbs there is all I'm saying. So if you're going to ride at Roundtop, you're either getting a hotel kind of far away from the resort, or you're just going there for a day trip. So just know that. Now, moving back over to like the resort, the terrain, and then the cost. So let's start with the cost. This resort is part of the Epic Pass. So if you have the Epic Pass, you can ride here as much as you want. Now, if you're going to go there and buy a lift ticket, it is going to be pricey. A weekday to this resort is $95, and then a weekend pass would be $115. So definitely expensive, but that is kind of the going rate for any of these resorts, especially in the Mid-Atlantic. Now, moving over to the runs, when I was there, they didn't have 100% of the mountain open. Once again, I did go a little bit earlier in the season, and then also it was kind of crap conditions. So I think they might have even closed some of the runs while I was there riding. because it was raining pretty hard. So while I was there, the ramrod lift was the one that I was primarily hitting to ride the double blacks and blues. It was pretty fun. Now they also have a pretty sweet terrain park, at least for like when I went, it was pretty early in the season, and they did have a pretty solid terrain park. They also have a terrain park that they call J-Bar Park, which is where you just take a J-Bar and hit laps on that little terrain park. I wanted to spend more time there because I'm trying to make it my goal this season to be able to do better park riding. However, I was a little bit on a time crunch to get to my brother in Philly, so once I had done every run at the resort, I packed it up and got over to my brother in Philly. But the little J-Bar Park was pretty cool, and there was people there doing different runs, teaching each other different tricks, so I thought that was cool. And then they have another larger terrain park section, actually a couple different terrain park sections that open as well for you to go and hit with bigger features at it. Once again, I'm not a park rider by any stretch of the imagination, so I didn't spend a ton of time there messing around at all, but they are cool if you're a park rider. Between the different resorts that are near, like the DC Nova area, between Whitetail, Liberty, Bryce, and Roundtop, if you are a park rider, I would definitely go to Roundtop over any of those other resorts for sure. Definitely has the most park features of any of them. As far as other riding goes, you probably have better options at maybe Whitetail over this one. For if you're looking for like blues and blacks and double blacks, I would probably lean towards Whitetail for those options. But if you're a park rider, this would definitely be the one that I would recommend hitting. Now, moving on to the resort food options, pretty typical for any of these Vail resorts on the Mid-Atlantic region, just your typical cafeteria food. It does give, I've kind of mentioned this in other videos, some of these resorts that are a little bit older, and this resort is over 60 years old. Any of these older resorts that haven't been updated recently kind of give like the old retro like roller skating rink vibes. Like if you ever go to like old roller skating rink and it just feels like out of the 70s, it like nothing's changed since the 70s. I would say this definitely has that vibe. It's definitely like kind of old school East Coast ski hill vibes on the inside, which I think's cool. Not a shot at them or anything, but that's definitely what you're getting. You're not getting like some sort of upscale nice resort vibe there by any means. Not that I think anyone going to this resort would be expecting that. Oh, and then also for food, there's really not a lot happening outside of the resort, so you're driving a decent distance to get to any food options off of the resort. So just keep that in mind. Now, moving over to my rankings of this resort, both regionally and then worldwide. For the Mid-Atlantic region, which is what this one's going to fall into, I would place it in the B tier, just because of the limited options from like a housing and food selection at the resort. Also from like a run selection, I would say it's a little bit limited. It does have good terrain park riding if you're into park riding, but for other types of runs, it's not like any sort of huge, a lot of different exciting terrain in comparison to some other Mid-Atlantic resorts you could hit. Now, moving over to the worldwide ranking, I'm going to be a little bit generous here, and I'm going to place Roundtop in the C tier for worldwide, only because for park riders, you're going to have decent park options in comparison to a lot of other Mid-Atlantic resorts. So I'm going to be a little bit generous here. I'm going to place it in the C tier. Otherwise, it probably really should maybe fall into that D tier, but I'm going to put this one in the C tier for those park riders out there. So, all right, so I'm just jumping in here because I had this whole video done. It was all edited, ready to post. And then after like reviewing the footage and everything, I was like, I feel terrible, but this resort is not, it's not worldwide C. So I'm unfortunately doing my first ever after editing and like rethinking about it. Unfortunately, a demotion, and I'm putting this resort in the worldwide D tier. Now back to the regularly scheduled program. Why can't I say that? Now back to the regularly scheduled program. I think I said that right. There you go. Hopefully you enjoyed this video review of Roundtop Ski Resort. And if you agree with my rankings or disagree, let me know in the comments below. Also be sure to tell me which resorts I should review next. Also, if you like any of the merch that I wear in these videos, this video, I'm actually wearing one of my hats. And then shout out to Jim. He's one of my loyal subscribers. And here, let me grab it. I have the shirt. So he was one that if you want free merch, all you have to do is leave a comment in this video or subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and then screenshot that and show it to me on Instagram. Let me know that you did. He's one of those people that did that, and so I made him this shirt. So shout out to you, Jim. Also, I'll leave a link to his channel because he has a channel as well, so go subscribe to my boy Jim. And anyway, so if you want free merch, now you know what to do. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and screenshot proof of doing so, and then slide into my DMs on Instagram, and maybe you can get some free merch too. And with that said, y'all, peace out. And if you like this video, you'll probably like these videos as well.